There's a certain feeling that doesn't quite fit into logic, but it lingers in your chest like a whisper from another time. It's the sense that you've been here before, in this world, in this body, or maybe many others. You walk through life with moments of uncanny recognition. A street you've never walked feels strangely familiar. A stranger's face looks like a long-lost friend. Certain skills come effortlessly, as if they've been practiced for lifetimes. These aren't just coincidences. These are echoes, fragments from lives already lived. Reincarnation is not just a belief, it's a deeper knowing that the soul is on a long, evolving journey, and this human lifetime is only one page in a much larger book. And though our memories may fade between incarnations, the energy, the imprints, and the soul wisdom remain etched deep within us. You've been here before, maybe not in this exact form, but your essence has walked this earth many times, learning, loving, failing, growing. The soul is eternal. It does not begin at birth nor end at death. It transitions, it transforms, it carries forward the lessons not yet learned and the love not yet expressed. Every lifetime is a classroom, every body a temporary home. Some souls are young, newly birthed into the cycles of incarnation, still gathering their first lessons. Others are old, weathered by many lifetimes, carrying depth, empathy, and a sense of detachment from the material world. If you've ever felt like you were born with emotional weight you couldn't explain, or if you've struggled with fears and longings that didn't seem rooted in your current experiences, you may be remembering. Your soul doesn't forget. While your conscious mind might not recall your past lives, your energetic body, your subconscious, and your emotional memory often carry fragments of those stories. They show up in dreams, in childhood behaviors, in irrational fears, or instant attractions. The people you meet, especially those who provoke deep emotion, positive or painful, may be part of your soul group, meeting you again in a new costume to help you heal what was left unresolved. Many who have lived before find themselves questioning the world from a young age. They don't feel entirely at home in their culture, their family, or even their own identity. They might long for places they've never visited or grieve things they've never consciously lost. This is not delusion. This is remembrance. The veil between lifetimes may be thick, but it is not unbreakable. Through meditation, dreams, regression, or spontaneous insight, glimpses of other lives sometimes come rushing in, not as fantasy, but as memory reactivated. You may see yourself wearing clothes from another era, speaking a language you've never learned, standing in a place that feels more like home than where you are now. These experiences can be confusing, emotional, and even overwhelming, but they're sacred. They remind you that your story did not begin here, that your soul is ancient, that everything you're drawn to, certain art, cultures, philosophies, time periods, may be clues left behind by your former selves. So how do you really know if you've lived before? The signs aren't always dramatic. They're subtle, often hidden in the plain sight. One of the most common clues is the presence of irrational fears, phobias that have no clear root in your current life. Maybe you've had an intense fear of water, fire, heights, or certain animals since childhood, and yet you've never had a traumatic experience connected to it. Sometimes those fears are echoes of how you died in a past life. Similarly, natural affinities or talents can be traces of abilities you've cultivated before. You might feel deeply connected to music, healing, writing, or craftsmanship. without any formal training. You might instinctively understand sacred texts, symbols, or spiritual practices from cultures you were never raised in. The knowledge doesn't come from study, it comes from memory. The soul carries imprints, and when the right conditions arise, those imprints resurface. Another powerful indicator is the presence of soul contracts, relationships that feel instantly significant, sometimes in ways that are too intense to explain. You meet someone and feel like you've known them forever, or you feel a strange emotional charge around them, love, grief, trust, or even fear. These are often karmic relationships, unfinished stories playing out again in this lifetime. Your soul may have agreed to meet theirs again, to complete, to forgive, to learn, to release. These connections can be beautiful, healing, or deeply challenging. Not every soul contract is meant to last forever. Some are meant to awaken you, to show you what still lives in your shadow. When we talk about old souls, we often refer to people who carry emotional depth, wisdom beyond their years, and a certain spiritual fatigue, not depression, but a sense of being tired of the superficial. They seek truth, depth, and alignment. They may have lived through war, exile, loss, or spiritual initiation in past lives, and in this life, they carry those frequencies with them, often unconsciously. Your intuition is one of the most reliable guides in recognizing past life echoes. Sometimes you walk into a building and feel like you've stood there before. You travel to a foreign city and know the streets by heart. You hear a language for the first time and feel a deep connection. These are not fantasies, they are fragments. You may also notice repeating life themes, patterns that follow you from job to job, partner to partner, experience to experience. If you find yourself stuck in the same emotional cycles, consider the possibility that this isn't just your personality. It may be a karmic pattern from another life that your soul is trying to heal in this one. Recurring dreams or nightmares can also be powerful indicators. Pay attention to imagery, settings, and emotional tones that feel more real than a typical dream. Your soul is always trying to communicate with you, not through fear or fantasy, but through symbolism and emotional truth. It's not always about remembering a name or a date or a specific death. It's about recognizing the thread that weaves through all your lifetimes, the essence of who you are and what you came to evolve through. Children are often the most connected to these memories. Before societal conditioning and mental filters fully form, many children speak of other families, other names, or events that never happened in their current life. These memories tend to fade after age 6 or 7, but in some cases they persist and have even been verified with historical records. But even without full recollection, your energetic memory never disappears. It's stored in your subtle body, in the vibration of your aura, and in the archetypes you gravitate toward. This is why some people resonate with the mystic, the warrior, the priestess, the healer, or the outcast. These aren't random identities. They're echoes of roles your soul has embodied before. You're not just here to live, you're here to remember. And each flash of familiarity, each gut instinct, each feeling of this isn't the first time, is your soul speaking through the veil of time. If your soul has lived before, the most important question isn't who you were, it's why you've come back. Reincarnation isn't just about nostalgia for a past life or curiosity about who you might have been. It's about evolution. Each lifetime gives the soul a new lens, a new challenge, a new stage of learning. The circumstances of your birth, your family, your body, your cultural environment, none of these are accidents. They are sacred agreements. You chose this incarnation, not from your human mind, but from your soul's perspective, because it offered you exactly the set of opportunities, wounds, and mirrors needed to grow. That growth might look like learning compassion, facing fear, healing generational trauma, or reclaiming your spiritual gifts. The details vary, but the purpose is always the same: awakening to truth and love through experience. And sometimes the soul chooses difficult lives, not as punishment, but as preparation, because there are certain lessons like forgiveness, surrender, courage, that can only be understood through adversity. Your wounds are not proof of failure. They are proof that your soul is willing to evolve. Remembering past lives is not about escaping this one. It's about deepening your presence here and now. When you begin to recognize the timelessness of your soul, your perspective shifts. You stop obsessing over minor setbacks or egoic concerns. You start asking bigger questions. You begin to notice synchronicities. You feel a deeper sense of responsibility, not in a heavy way, but in a sacred way. You realize that every thought, every word, every choice is part of your karmic blueprint. You also become more forgiving of yourself and others, because you understand that everyone is walking through their own soul curriculum. That person who triggered you, you may have known them before. You may have harmed each other, loved each other, saved each other. There's a reason many spiritual traditions say, treat everyone as if they were your mother in a past life. Because when you see others as fellow souls on their own journey rather than enemies or obstacles, your heart opens. Compassion becomes a way of life. And from that place, karma begins to resolve. Not because you avoid it, but because you transcend it through awareness. So, what can you do with this knowledge? First, listen to your soul's language. Pay attention to the places, people, ideas, and dreams that stir something ancient in you. These are keys. Follow them with humility and curiosity. Second, become the student of your own patterns. What are you still repeating? Where are you still hiding? What part of you feels too old for your age? These aren't just psychological questions, they're energetic ones. Your soul may be trying to bring closure to something left undone. Third, live with intention. The more conscious you are in this lifetime, the fewer loops you carry into the next. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. Reincarnation isn't a trap. It's a spiral of growth. And each time you come back, you have the chance to live with more light, more alignment, and more love. This life is not your first, and it likely won't be your last, but it is sacred. It is yours. And what you choose to do with it matters more than you know, not just for this life, but for all the lives your soul has ever lived.